Yes, indeed. Welcome here to another episode of the Pitboard discussions. Wherever you're joining us from, welcome as we bring the heat fresh from the Bahrain kitchen. Max Verstappen looked impressive. He had another dominant showing. What does this mean? Is he carrying on his 2023 form into 2024, or will we have potential challengers? Speaking of potential challengers, the Ferraris looked fast but were mad with issues. However, one of their drivers did indeed come to play and had a dominant, impressive display in Bahrain. The Mercedes looked fast, but were they fast enough for a podium finish? We had Sauber kicking themselves in the gut, while the Racing Bulls had a political moment of their own between their drivers. Also, stay tuned as I give you the Formula 2 and the Formula 3 updates. I'm your host, the Trouble Man himself, joined here by none other than the less troublesome Dan and the Statman himself, Muchiri. Buckle up as we take you on a pitboard ride.
And we are live!
It's got 20 minutes. How many Red Bulls have you taken?
0.
Too much caffeine is bad for you.
No, I'm good, man.
We are here immediately after the Bahrain GP.
Yeah.
They just concluded 1 of 24. 23. Ngoja. How many races are there this season? 24.
Yes.
1 of 24 in 2024.
And we are bagging all of it.
The Bahrain GP. And hata hakuna spoilers. Hakuna spoilers. We have no spoiler alerts. We have nothing like that happened out of the ordinary, because what was expected to happen continued happening. In short, 2024 is a sequel to Max Verstappen's 2023 thus far. By that, I'm talking about how the race transpired. Na nyi wote mliko hapo mkiona this guy is still jolly, naona ecstasy bado iko pale juu.
Still on a high, man.
You're still on a high. You're still riding the wave, eh?
Yes.
Not yet. Until the fourth race.
Until the fourth race.
Yeah.
That's
because when Max will break his 10 consecutive wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just to let you know, your Red Bull membership is under
review.
No, me, I'm a very realistic person.
Okay.
I don't get too high, I don't get too low.
You're being too modest. You're being too modest. Anyway, so Bahrain happened and Max Verstappen happened. By Max Verstappen happening, I'm talking about him leading the pack by 20 seconds or more. And as usual, it was a Red Bull 1-2. Nasema as usual because that's exactly what happened for the better part of 2023. In 2024, the same story continued. Guys were asking, hey, this RB20 looks different. It's unconventional in design. It doesn't look like it's carrying over what the RB19 brought to the field. It looks like Adrian Newey decided to, you know what, let me switch it up a bit, because I know guys are going to copy me this year. I know guys are going to photocopy my masterpiece. Yeah. So you know what, just to show them I'm that guy.
There's more to where that came from.
Yeah, just to show them I'm that guy. I'll go to the lab, cook something up, bring it, and it will still be 20 plus seconds ahead of everyone else in the field.
But okay, for me, this is one of the reasons why I say I'm a Red Bull fan and I like Red Bull, is because a normal team could have easily said, we are going to improve some, because you're already fast, you're going to improve some few things, nani. But Red Bull said, you know what, we're going to work with something very different. And they went for it.
So nothing short of innovation at Red Bull, sorry.
Yes, yeah. And they're not afraid to take chances or doing things that look unsafe to maybe most people. They are willing to do things that are unconventional.
They're ready to push the boundaries.
Yes.
Of innovation.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. And I think Adrian Newey and the other geniuses at Red Bull had to also...
Wait. So it's not one of them? He's not alone. He's not the only genius there.
Yeah. It's a team.
Hey, it's a team, man.
You know, hey, there's this thing we know, Adrian Newey. Once you remove Adrian from the mix, Red Bull...
Hey, we don't know. But for me, I think it was vital to design a car that's going to dominate the 24 season, to also give us an upper hand when it comes to the 2025 season. That's next year. We all know 2026, we're starting with new regulations.
Facts.
So teams probably are going to put in more effort next year to focus on the 2026 car and not on the 2025 car. So if you are a team and you have your 2024 car, whether it's a new concept or it's an evolution of the 2023 car, and you still have the inherent problems or you have new problems, you don't have time or the resources to sort that out in 2025. So I'm just going to call it 2025, another Red Bull dominance.
That means also 2026 from your explanation.
2026 is a wild card because no one knows the regulations yet.
Yeah.
Okay. That notwithstanding, Red Bull were also plagued by a lot of off-field issues going on, and I know you don't fancy talking about it. It's a blemish in their otherwise quite perfect record on the track.
What is happening?
So apparently, the Christian Horner situation is dragging along. By dragging along, it was reportedly investigated internally, and everything was sorted out. And guys were like, you know what, Christian is free to go. But somebody has something. Somebody has a fight to pick with Christian, because even after that happened, this person went online, tagged every official in the FIA, and tagged popular journalists, aliwa CC for the emails, and leaked WhatsApp images.
Wanasia tukupata.
Unfortunately, we are not among the 150 recipients.
Yeah, so
important people.
And in the damning screenshots that were released, niko sure ni kitu the Red Bull guys wakifanya private investigation, they actually came across na wakaona, and they decided, listen, this isn't worthy making a fuss over. Or this
wait, did you get to see the file 76? What was in the content?
I kind of saw a few things, but I can't confirm they were the things that were actually CC'd to those people. I can't confirm because I don't know what those people saw.
Did you pick the file?
I'm surprised you even know the file names offhand and the contents.
It was labeled file, I think 76.
I
don't know.
Nobody
what
took
it was
a
labeled
pic.
as, but I have seen and read some transcripts of the conversations.
I looked at some.
And I don't want to say this, but I have to. I'm not coming to Christian's aid here, but that's grown people business. That's something between two grown people, two grown folks. And from what I read, I can't confirm. You know what? I'll just ongelea your story. What I'll talk about is the fact that his story, it dragging along, is causing troubled waters. Now, these troubled waters are actually, we are now starting to feel the ship rock kidogo, because we are hearing Ford are trying to pull off the deal that they had with Red Bull to be their powertrain supplier from 2026 onwards. We are hearing things like Jos Verstappen not seeing eye to eye with Christian Horner. We are seeing things that Red Bull, the hierarchy, to this point, the solid hierarchy that has been at Red Bull, Helmut Marko, Christian Horner, and Adrian Newey, all these power figures there who have been solid together. We are hearing, trouble in paradise, and it could be bad. As of now, as of the recording of this podcast, we do know for a fact Red Bull released a statement and said we are a racing team who are solely focused on racing. We know Red Bull released that statement, so they're trying to put everything behind them. And Max having a dominant weekend didn't put him out of out of the limelight ya kuuliza hizo maswali, because the commentators ama the guys asking the questions, the journalists, they asked him that question 4 times.
What
4
did he
times.
say?
Yeah, he just brushed it off and he was like, listen, we're focused on racing. He's trying to move on with it, but apparently the media guys are not going to let it go. And even if they let it go, somebody behind the scenes isn't trying to let it go. Somebody's still trying to poke things at it. So that's the update on the whole Horner situation.
Okay, I have one thing. Me, I did have a look, but what I can say, they are not worth the 650k. Was it 650 euros? He was asked.
My friend, uko Kenya. So don't think about it like a Kenyan. Think about it like a European person.
Me, I'm giving my thoughts, and what I'm saying, that whatever I saw, 650,000 euros or what it was, that's too much. Listen, to cover that story. That's all I'm gonna say.
In Europe and these Western countries, these Western cultures, these are things that are treated with the utmost seriousness.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You
I'm
that
giving my
I wanted
opinion.
to say something else. That's why I let it go. I wanted to say, look, from what I read, I kind of think it was grown people business. There is nothing really much going on there from what I read. I don't think he did anything okay, maybe misconduct at work, vitu kama hizo. But
Most men have such messages in their inbox.
I know, na niko sure tukienda hiyo paddock sahi, it's something that is going on. But apparently she wasn't interested. And hey, don't trust. Just leave it.
Extortion.
So away from the drama at Red Bull and the Austrian outfit, the guys we expected to challenge the Red Bulls, Ferrari, had quite a race. So the front row consisted as per how they qualified. Max Verstappen, pole position. His front row teammate, a challenger, was Charles Leclerc in a red car. But at the end of the race, there was another red car on the podium among the Red Bulls. Now, during the race, Charles Leclerc was plagued by a brake issue. He was plagued by a brake issue, and it actually messed up his race. He was locking up every second, every five seconds he was locking up. And he lost some places due to that. But there is another red car that came to play. And that is the red car of Carlos Sainz. Personally, the driver who impressed me most over the course of that weekend. Minus how he qualified, Carlos Sainz was consistently putting fast times at free practice. And come to qualification, he was actually putting up fast times, but we know Leclerc over one lap. When it comes to qualification, Leclerc thinks that's the championship, and that's where he shines. But come race day, when Charles Leclerc was actually struggling with the car, Carlos Sainz was doing everything he could to bring maximum points in that red car. What did you guys think about it?
About?
The whole situation.
Oh, the
Ferrari situation. They looked fast. They were still struggling with race pace.
Okay, first of all, there's the difference between Red Bull and... You remember when Checo put the soft tire and Sainz came hoping to the soft tire to degrade and he can overtake?
Yeah.
But it never happened. So there's a very big difference in race pace.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Ferrari have solved that. Mm-hmm. But over one lap, they did set the fastest time in quali, Q2. So over one lap, they are fast. But when they put fuel on that car, and that is the question which I was asking you the other day, we have to wait until Ferrari put fuel on that car and see how it performs. As for Charles, he had problems. I hope they sort those problems. But I believe if Charles didn't have those problems, he could have been in big fight with Checo.
Do you think Carlos Sainz was a driver who had a point to prove in Bahrain?
Yeah. We all know he's going to be replaced by Hamilton 2025. So every race that Carlos is going to participate 2024 season, it will be like an interview, if I can call it that way. So he's definitely going to put his heart into all the races this season, because there's that empty seat at Mercedes. And the other, how many more drivers will be out of contract end of this season?
At this point,
is it 16 or something?
At this point, we are guaranteed of 6. Guaranteed.
Yeah. So we also know Checo might be out of contract. Now, I know many people are talking about Carlos probably might go to Sauber, which will be rebranded to Audi 2026. But I don't think a driver like Carlos.
Sauber kick currently.
Yes. I don't think a driver like Carlos will actually take that gamble to become like a development driver, like what Bottas is currently doing. Carlos he's won a race, but he's a top driver. We know Carlos is a top driver. So he's saying that I'm not, as in I don't want to think about where I'm going to go next, but I know he's either eyeing a seat at either Mercedes or Red Bull. So every race, including the just concluded Bahrain, Carlos will definitely will be on track trying to prove a point. And of course, he's it's like that jilted ex.
Yeah.
He's like, as in the jilted ex who upgraded. They're not like, yeah, see,
So
you
who's
left me
upgrading
now.
here?
Now I'm,
Who's upgrading here?
Who?
Who's upgrading? A Ferrari upgrading, or is Carlos Sainz going to upgrade?
I think it depends. If Carlos gets Perez the Checo's seat, he's upgrading, of course.
It's yet to be seen.
Okay, so that wasn't the only thing plaguing, or that wasn't the only thing happening with Carlos Sainz. Or Carlos Sainz appeared in the podium. He finished in the podium places at P3. But something else happened after the race. So apparently, when he finished his race, he's out of the car. The car is parked. He's out of the car and he's trying to go celebrate with his teammates. But apparently, nobody was there to celebrate with him.
What happened, man? As a tifosi, give us the tea, man.
So I was doing my own thing. But
You are not there to celebrate.
no, just hear
Did
me
you
out.
celebrate?
Did you celebrate?
Yeah, definitely. I celebrated Carlos's podium finish.
Okay.
Watching the race. But doing my thing, my phone was blowing up at that time. The Pitboard
going
group,
on?
everybody was tagging me. Wait, what is going on? Why aren't they celebrating? I go to Twitter, or X rather, and it's the topic of discussion currently. And Ferrari have been having this thing whereby if they favor one driver, the other driver always seems neglected to some degree.
Wait. Why are you not saying that there's no number one, number two driver?
Exactly, yeah. You always denied, like in it today, you're like, if they favor a driver.
Listen, I will give you something. I will give you something for this episode, yeah? Something you can look back on. For this season, based on how I'm seeing them treat Carlos, because I don't like what's happening currently. I didn't like what I saw. It doesn't matter. Your driver finishing the podium places, go celebrate with him. Be there for him.
Yep.
We don't want to see Carlos looking like a lost chicken. And this is a person who gives his all for the team. I'm not saying Charles doesn't give his all, but Carlos puts up fights in times whereby we need him to do most.
Did Ferrari do the same thing? The 2022 Silverstone race, the one that Carlos won.
I think that was a full celebration. It was his first win, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a full celebration.
I don't know about that, but I know that's something that has happened before. I don't know where. I'm trying to pinpoint it where, but it's happened before whereby Ferrari haven't celebrated with the driver. Same case with Mercedes last year at Singapore.
Yeah.
And that just shows you there is a cool.
Well, there's a pattern here. If you're a driver who's about to, I don't know, not lose your seat, but you want out, guess what? They're not celebrating with you.
Come on. Listen. But in Carlos's situation, I think Carlos deserves respect from his teammates.
Fact.
Because this is a respect issue at this point. Respect him enough to be there for him and celebrate with him. As a fan, currently as a Ferrari fan, Carlos Sainz is a driver who, I've told you guys this before, he's won me over gradually. When he joined, I was on Leclerc's bandwagon 24/7 full time. But over the course of last season, he won me over gradually because of his performances, his consistent performances, and the fact that he's actually a team player. He puts his needs aside and puts the team's needs ahead. He knew Leclerc was struggling with his brake issue. He knew Leclerc's brakes were all over the place. He put up a fight. He went, challenged. He tried to race those racing bulls, or not racing bulls, the Red Bulls, and he got a good finish. From considering where he started, he actually moved up the places. He got a good finish. So everything that happened
was there team order?
No.
To let Carlos pass?
No, but they did race each other.
Oh, because from my eye, they seemed to be racing each other.
Yeah, they raced themselves. I think Carlos had a point to prove, and it's okay to have a point to prove. But I think this will actually be the season whereby he actually proves his worth. I think he's going to go to
is it something that will excite you?
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
If Carlos wipes the floor with Charles.
Even if it's Charles.
I'm actually backing Carlos for this season. He is my driver number one at Ferrari for this season. Yeah, I like Charles. I mean, I love Charles. But no homo. But I am rooting for Charles. I mean, I am rooting for Carlos Sainz this season.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't know what Charles did to you.
While that was happening, George was having quite a race himself. So George Russell had an impressive start to the race. He was there. He was overtaking Leclerc like it's nobody's business. He was there telling people, listen, I am the future. I am the future. Then, in classic George fashion, he messed it up at some point. He braked too hard, he turned too soon, and he locked up, he went wide, he was out of the track, and Leclerc was like, thank you for giving my position back, and now enjoy the P5s.
Okay, do you know Charles hadn't sorted his issue? You see, the inconsistent braking was happening. It reached a point whereby it became predictable. Before the first 10 laps, it was very unpredictable. He was trying to brake either 5 meters earlier. It wasn't cooperating, but in the stints after that, he still had the same problem, but at least it was predictable. That's why he looked like he was like the car got better, but in actual sense, the car had the same problem. Is that he knew
he adapted.
How to drive.
After the first pit stop, you could hardly hear any radio from Charles complaining about the braking. There was a really interesting radio message. He was saying each time he was braking, the car was also turning.
Yeah, also he had that problem. And managing that.
That just shows you the skill of a Formula 1 driver. You have to adapt quickly. You have to adapt quickly.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So, and for Russell, as you were saying, he had, even with Hamilton, he had overheating engine.
Yeah, the Mercedes actually had some issues. Apparently, the teams that came to play on Saturday rather, everybody had something going on. George had some heating with his Mercedes. Hamilton had some heating, and also his seat was loose. So he went dancing.
Yeah, I think it was only the Astons who didn't have any power unit issue. Because I think by Saturday, Lando Norris had used up all his energy stores, his allocated energy stores.
Okay.
Yeah. Then on Saturday during race day, Logan, Albon, George.
McLaren had engine problems.
Yeah.
During the race?
Lando had.
Oh.
Not even during the race. Before the race.
Before the race.
Thursday and Friday he had battery problems, energy store problems. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But comparing how McLaren have started this season and comparing how they started this season, they are better off. Remember the metric we are using to judge?
I don't think so.
Hey, last season they started Uko Nyuma bana.
Yeah, but you know when you're comparing, according to me, the comparison that you should be doing is last year, at what position did you end, as in car-wise, performance-wise? We can all agree McLaren was the second best car on the grid last year, by the end of last year.
From mid last year.
No, as in end the last race. Abu Dhabi,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Would you say the same, the first race this year?
Okay, no.
Are they still the second best car?
I get your point whereby, we were expecting even to be better than... Yeah, I know that. But sometimes you look back and see what they have done, you still appreciate. But at the same time, they said that it's not their track, so maybe they have more performance.
They say they're looking forward to high speed corners.
Yeah, medium to high speed, which is also a trait that they or a disadvantage that they had last year. So what have they been doing during the winter break?
Hey, guess what? The next race is a race that is plagued with a lot of high speed corners. Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Jeddah. So we won't get to wait for a long period of time before we see them in action.
Okay, what you're saying is valid, but I don't think McLaren has made any jump from last year. Yeah.
From end of last year.
From what we were expecting.
Okay, from end of last year, yes, but from beginning of last year,
a significant jump, a significant one. It's not just a jump; it's a significant one. But at this moment in time, I'll have to agree with you to some degree because, McLaren were being mentioned alongside Mercedes and the Ferraris. But when we came to see, when we watched the race, they really didn't have that stellar pace. They really didn't have it. Same for Aston Martin. I actually expected more from Aston. But I guess these are teams. Look, historically, McLaren perform as the season progresses. Like they're not teams to come out of the gate.
Well,
looking good.
if they keep up with that, they will never win a championship.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting to see how they'll do this season.
Well, speaking of that, we also had somebody at the pit stops who was plagued by team performance. Not is it team performances or inconsistencies or what do I call it? Pit lane drama.
Pitboard does not.
Who?
Pit laners. Bottas. So Bottas went to pit for hards, was it?
Yeah.
He went to pit for hards.
His second hards.
Yeah, his second hards, and his race got messed up.
Yeah.
So his
Wasted.
his pit crew members, let him stay in the pit for over a minute, and that's years in Formula One.
What was the
Formula One
problem?
time. Yeah, so apparently the nut on the wheel gun got stuck,
Yeah.
and once it got stuck, I don't know if they broke it or they had to break it so that they can remove it separately.
By the way, what did
and
they
get
do?
a new nut.
They got a new nut.
Yeah, they had to get a new nut or something like that to try and because
The
you
nut
see,
is
when
usually
you're
left at the wheel gun. Sindio?
yeah, the nut is supposed to stay at the wheel gun. The nut is supposed to attach
No.
itself to the
Doesn't stay on the wheel.
wheel
So
gun.
each
What
wheel has
consists
its
of
own
the wheel
nut.
gun?
Yeah, each wheel has its own.
Roger, what are we talking? What are we calling the nut? Because that thing that attaches to it's also a nut. That thing that attaches to that car locking device on the wheel is also a nut form.
Yeah,
That's the wobbly
each
thing.
wheel,
You know the wobbly thing on the gun.
each rim has its own nut. So what really happened, by the way? Because ideally, each
You see the new tire, the new front left tire, when they put it in and then they tried to tighten the nut, it wasn't tightening. So I think what they did is, I remember that guy removed that new tire. I don't know if he got another new tire or something, or maybe he took another nut and replaced that one on the wheel.
So Meno zilikuwa zimeisha.
what? Okay, I don't know.
No, it wasn't a
What
problem.
what
with
I
the
saw,
wheel gun.
you see the front part of the gun.
Mhm.
They replaced that. Did you see that?
It wasn't the wheel gun.
I remember. Okay, I know that wheel gun has its own nut that attaches to this nut. I didn't know. I didn't want to call it a nut, but it has that wobbly thing.
It has teeth,
Yeah,
That one.
and the teeth are supposed to align with the nut on the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the each rim has its own nut.
Yeah, each wheel has its own nut because basically a nut ni bolt. Ama ni hiyo stuff
Hiyo
ya-
si utafanya no F1 tukisonga.
hiyo iko na hizo stuff zote. But the thing was it got stuck. Something got stuck na haikuwa inatoka.
Yeah, Bottas was really unlucky. Remember, he had an incident, lap 1, turn 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He got spun around.
yeah, and that basically he had to go in and change his wing, right?
No, I don't.
I
Did he
don't
change his
even
wing?
know what
he
happened.
He didn't change his wing.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I think
But
Nani
he's-
Hulkenberg.
Yeah, Hulkenberg did, sorry. But his race was pretty much reset. And then now you have this pit stop
Drama.
happening. It just became a data collection exercise from that.
Kick in the gut. Pun intended. Kick in the gut. Pun intended. Kick sauber. Anyway, so that wasn't the only team plagued with some internal drama. The Racing Bulls, as we are now being forced to call them by mainstream media.
Have they confirmed that name? Racing Bulls.
No, the mainstream media calling them Racing Bulls, so we are inclined to kind of go with them. We can't call them here VCAB, and these guys are calling them Racing Bulls.
Okay.
Even the commentators are calling them Racing Bulls, yeah?
Okay. Me, I don't even remember how Crofty called them.
Yeah, they're being called the Racing Bulls. So apparently the Racing Bulls, kulikuwa na some politicking happening in between the race. Now, the politicking that was happening, do you think Daniel Ricciardo was using his seniority to kind of get position places? Because context for the guys who don't know what happened. Towards the end of the race, Yuki was ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and instead of letting them race like the traditional way, how people race each other and get their places, how people earn their places, Yuki was told to actually leave his place for Daniel Ricciardo. So it meant Daniel Ricciardo will actually finish higher than him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Yuki didn't really fancy that team order, and he's let his frustrations know by kind of mocking it to some degree. Yes, he did let the place go, but he kind of mocked it over radio.
Yeah, I think it's a trend that has been happening at AlphaTauri for quite some time, ever since Yuki joined that team. When he was teammates with Pierre Gasly, Yuki, yes, was a rookie that time. He had a lot to do mentally, attitude-wise, and also racing-wise. And we were given a glimpse of how Yuki behaves when he's under pressure or frustrated. Granted, it was his first rookie season in Formula One. But now when he was paired with Nick De Vries, I don't know if you guys have watched Drive to Survive, but there's an episode where Nick De Vries says, basically, Yuki has a lot to develop. He's not experienced as me. Again, looking down on Yuki as a racing driver. And I think a lot of people usually underrate Yuki as a driver. Leave Yuki.
Why do you think that is?
Leave Yuki the
Come on.
Hey, that could be a thing. Because they're also jokes. But Yuki has, ever since he joined the team, there's this narrative that Yuki curses, he has a temper. And if you're a driver, you need to have a cool head above your shoulders. Mm-hmm. The moment you have a certain trait which makes you less of a good driver or someone who has shit together, then you automatically become an underrated driver or a driver number 2, if I can put it that way. Yeah. And Riccardo's not doing anything new. He was just doing what other drivers have done to Yuki before. De Vries citing as an example. Liam Lawson didn't do much of that because he was also a rookie. But Riccardo had that upper hand, being a driver who was more experienced. He's won races at Red Bull, one race at McLaren, right?
Yuki said he is not fast.
Yes, and Yuki actually, I think I don't know where I saw this, but Yuki actually say that he's going to kind of prove a point.
Yeah.
That he's going to beat Riccardo.
He's saying he's not even fast.
Yeah, and I agree with him because Tsunoda, okay, granted, last year Riccardo didn't participate the entire year. He had like a few races.
Yeah.
But Tsunoda was mopping the floor with Riccardo.
Yeah.
Bahrain, Tsunoda mopped the floor.
Yeah,
he
out-qualified.
He had qualified him. And even race day, Tsunoda actually had a better race than Riccardo.
Yes, he did.
And whatever that stunt that Riccardo was pulling involving team orders, one, they were racing, I don't know, for P13, out of points. Two, Tsunoda was on the hards, Riccardo was on the softs. Riccardo couldn't even pass Tsunoda up ahead on the hards. So what I don't know. From I was looking at it, I was so frustrated because if you're the driver who's on the softs and you say you have more pace and the guy in front of you has hards, we're expecting you to have a pace advantage. He couldn't make any overtakes on Tsunoda. And we know Bahrain as a track, it's easy to overtake. So what made him think that he would overtake K-Mag and maybe, overtake the 11th person to get into the points? That didn't make sense to me.
So
okay, let me speak on on behalf of Riccardo. So he said that they had a briefing before where they said in case of such a scenario, they would swap position. And since they were both out of points, it's like attempting to overtake the person ahead. But since you're both out of points, there's no need like either switching back or something.
Yeah.
And also, Riccardo was saying that if you spend some time behind somebody else, it's killing your tire. So him trying to overtake Yuki so that he can go ahead for K-Mag, he'll eat a lot from his tire than being let to pass. But he also said, if he would have been told, if he failed to overtake, give back the position, he would have done willingly. So to him, he doesn't understand why that happened. But at the same time, he said he doesn't care since it is out of the points. But what I have noticed is that it's two people trying to establish dominance, and it's fine. I'm fine with it. Let them fight. Let's see who is the faster driver. But I believe at this point, Yuki is the faster driver.
So for you, politicking? No.
Sorry?
Did Daniel Ricciardo politic his way to that position? No?
No, they had talked about it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about you? Did he politic his way into that position?
Yeah, of course. Think about it. If it was later like Nick De Vries saying, I have more pace, let's swap positions. Do you think they would give De Vries? Do you think they'd tell Tsunoda?
Over Yuki?
Yes.
So you're saying yes,
do that.
politicking, yes.
Yeah. And even after that, Riccardo made a statement that he actually cast. He said Tsunoda is a fucking helmet. Then in the post-race interview,
What did
What
he try
does
to
that mean?
What did he try to mean by that? Is he trying to say he's a hard head, or
yeah, it
is
could
he
be
dense?
that, or he has, helmet is just the casing. There's nothing inside.
Nothing gets through.
Yeah, it could be that. I don't know. That's open
Team radio doesn't work.
for any interpretation. Then in the post-race interview, he also said Tsunoda is immature. Just paraphrasing what he said, but he used the word immaturity.
Okay.
Are you going to give us the Daniel Ricciardo special?
No, I'm not.
Why? You're mad at him?
Yes. For real.
Okay.
There's something which I've always struggled to express. Wait.
Should he be
Wait,
mad
wait.
at Riccardo or the team?
Who, me?
You and Yuki?
Both.
Both?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, all three of them.
Okay, briefly.
One, the comments Riccardo made. I have no problem with Riccardo saying, I think I have more pace than this guy. It's okay to dream. Yeah. I have no problem with what I have a problem with Riccardo is the post-race comments. Because this is your teammate. If you go calling your teammate immature, do you think Yuki is just going to let that
It's
Yuki is going to dive bomb at Jeddah. You just wait.
it's two bulls in a ring.
Okay. Just briefly, give us your ideal situation. How it should have been handled.
Okay, so I'm going to draw a parallel to last year Suzuka with the Alpines. Okay, remember Gasly was told to give a position or to let Ocon pass. Then on the last lap, because Ocon didn't make that move on the person ahead on the last lap, it's like a gentleman's agreement. Swap positions back.
Were they in the points?
I think they were about to get into the points.
Oh, so they were. If you fail to overtake,
Yes. And get into the points, give the position back.
if you fail to overtake, and meaning that the position you are, you can't improve, you give the position
You
back.
give the position back.
What I'm asking is, were there any loss of point to the person giving the position back?
No, because that person was not in the points.
Okay, sawa.
Same thing in this scenario.
The same thing, yes.
If Riccardo wanted to be he wanted to get into the points, he could have qualified, or he should have qualified better.
Yes.
Yuki beat him in quali.
Breathe,
He
brother.
took that position, or he I don't know, he manipulated his way into getting that position. Didn't do shit
Politics.
about overtaking K-Mag. And then at the end of the race, instead of the team asking Riccardo, hey, give that position back,
They let it slide.
they let it slide. Then Riccardo goes ahead and calls Yuki immature.
I feel your frustration. You're basically defending the guy who doesn't have a voice here.
Yuki.
Which is commendable of you.
Yeah, but also Yuki screwed up after the during the cool down lap. What the fuck was that?
Sorry guys, today we won't have the Daniel Ricciardo special. I know we said we'll be having a Daniel Ricciardo special anytime we mention
I can't
him.
wait to see Yuki mop the floor with this guy.
But apparently, okay. But on that situation, I thought there was some politicking involved. That's why I'm talking about it and using the word politics a lot. And I also didn't like the situation. But hey, it is what it is. Racing is racing. Daniel Ricciardo is the senior driver. I know de facto he is the number one driver at Racing Bulls. So
Well, senior driver age-wise.
Yeah,
but
wait to
let's
see.
let's see how it goes. So that wasn't the only thing happening. So as at the time of shooting right now, news has broken, and technical staff have resigned from Alpine, and we do know Alpine had a weekend to forget at Bahrain. So they qualified at 19th and 20th respectively.
Man, for a factory team, man.
Yeah, a team with a factory.
I'm wondering, by all those celebrities who invested in that team.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he's dead inside. Deadpool.
He's in a pool of dead.
They're in shambles. What is happening after pouring all that money?
Yeah, they made Haas look good because everybody going into Bahrain, we knew Haas pale nyuma.
Yeah.
So I mean, he made Gene Haas worryless because we know he's worrying a lot about his team.
That is what we have been used to. We are used to that from Haas, where they make the car and then they never develop it.
Yeah, you did say something like that before.
So
before we
they
started.
always impress us in the first few races, and after that they fall off.
No. I have to be the devil. I have to be the guy on this other side. I think Haas has really made some good strides.
From last year.
Yes.
No.
Yes, I
Have
agree
you
with
heard
that.
What he said.
I agree
He's
with
saying
that.
Haas bring a car and they don't update it for the rest of the year. That's the car they use from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
So yeah,
It
He's
impresses
basically-
us.
I agree. But now I think this year they'll be a little bit different. Not just because Gunther Steiner has been replaced by Ayo Kimatsu, someone who
You
Komatsu,
remember
someone-
his name?
Wait.
You
yes.
remember? Yeah.
Someone who's
Kudos.
more. I think he's actually even a sponsor, Pale Williams. Kidding. But he's coming from a technical background. Last year, they were turning everything upside down on that car, trying to figure out how do we solve this tire deck issue. Yeah, because remember, quali, they were getting into Q3,
Yeah.
but come race day on Sunday, they were
P17.
falling off. Yeah. Now, this first race at Bahrain, I think it's an indicator that Haas actually made some good strides over the winter. And they are less likely going to focus on solving last year's problem, which was tire deg. So I'm expecting them to... I know money is an issue, but I believe now having a technical guy who's the team principal and having solved their biggest issue last year, they're definitely now going to introduce... I'm not expecting a significant update, but smaller updates to fix small things that they can now focus on this year. So maybe the cadence of introducing updates might increase compared to last year, where I think they brought their first major update at quarter, which was the tail end of the season.
I agree with you. Especially, I'm wondering what if Hülkenberg didn't have that lap 1 incident where he could have finished.
I think in the points.
Considering
What do you think?
K-Mag was 11th, Ama?
Yeah, P11.
P11. And he qualified. He was out in Q2. Is it Q2? Okay. So me
He qualified P15.
P15. So he improved, eh? So if Hülkenberg didn't have that issue, definitely in the points, but I don't know how high he would have been.
P10 good enough.
We'll wait to see how they will perform in
to see
Jeddah.
where Nico finished. I'm trying to see where Nico finished.
The race?
Yeah, the race, because he did qualify
He finished
exemplarily,
P16.
exemplary well.
But he had a turn 1 incident.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Alpine. I know we've digressed. So quickly, some senior technical figures at Alpine have left. And these technical figures have left with immediate effect. Si ati tunangoja ati sijui kesho ama kesho kutwa. So some of them include technical director Matt Harman and head of aerodynamics Dank de Beer. That sounds like a Dutch guy. I don't know about Matt Harman, but technical director and head of aerodynamics Dank de Beer have both left. So what are we expecting from Alpine come Saudi Arabia?
Well, if you thought Bahrain was the bottom, there's
So
there's a level below the bottom that
you
Alpine
reckon-
are yet to reach.
You reckon worse?
Yeah, it's doom and gloom over at the Enstone.
Okay.
And okay, me there was a time I would have felt bad for them, but since I don't know when, that they have never made a competitive car, and they have been around, I don't know for how long.
So
Like what have they been doing all those years? Since Kimi drove for them, like in 2012, they were Renault.
Renault, yeah.
And I think that is the last time they were competitive. I think Kimi won the first race in that time, and he finished on the podium a couple of times. Actually, there's a rumor that he almost bankrupted the team because there was a bonus for every time he's on the podium. Since then, it has been a downfall. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe up and down, but up and down Uko at the bottom.
Yeah. Remember they had a bogus power unit.
They always have
Yes,
a bogus.
and again,
they were powering Red Bull at some point.
yeah, and even right now they still have a bogus power unit. It as in they actually say that almost every lap they are losing like a 0.4.
Did you see the facial expression? I think of Ocon when it was revealed.
The car.
Not Ocon alone. The both drivers were there.
Yeah,
Both drivers were
like
there.
you could tell, like these guys are
Dead
in for
inside.
a long.
They knew
It's going to be a long season.
I want out.
They knew something we didn't know. Anyway, without much further ado, we still have that segment. I know we haven't done it in quite a while, but we still have it. The driver, team, and Melon of the day.
Oh,
Before I give some
been a
Formula
while.
2 and Formula 3 updates. So who was your driver? Just give us the three. Who was your driver? Give us who was your driver of the day?
so my driver of the day.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, a lot of people performed well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, I will say 3 drivers. For me, they are tied. There's Max, like how Red Bull is able not to chew tires. Like that guy was setting consistent lap after lap. And he could have even done a 1-stop if he wanted.
Yeah.
Like that car is not chewing tires at all.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they are making that.
The first stint before he changed from the softs to the hards, he was consistent. All the way, as in he didn't pit because the softs were falling off.
Yeah.
He pitted to cover Checo, who was on quicker.
So the Red Bull is looking good on the long runs.
Bro, that guy is not chewing
It's
tires.
not using the tires. And I think that has, and we said it before, is that whoever makes a car that doesn't chew the tire will win. Will eventually win. So my other one is Stroll. He had an incident and he did a very good recovery drive. He finished just behind Alonso. So we usually tend to go on about Stroll, comparing him to Alonso, and this is a good example of how Stroll can perform if he wants to, because finishing behind Alonso, even with a turn 1 incident, I think that is remarkable, and that's why I put him there. The other driver is Carlos Sainz. So I think Carlos Sainz, he said that he hasn't been used to going out and fighting, but now I think he's gotten a chance. So going out and fighting and being able to fight for real, even with Charles. I commend him for that. And for the team, it's Red Bull.
Okay. What about you, your driver?
Driver of the day, Joe Guanyu. He qualified P17.
Who was he fighting? Who was he keeping behind?
Joe, K-Mag.
Oh, K-Mag.
During the race, yeah.
Yeah.
So Joe qualified P17 with the second slowest car.
Okay.
On the grid, then race day, he had a really clean and good race. He wasn't given,
amidst of the things that were happening around him.
yes, he wasn't given airtime on the feeds, like Joe,
Yeah.
whatever. But he finished P11, just one position shy from getting points. Again with the second worst car on the grid. So Joe is my driver of the day. Team of the day, I don't have any team of the day. No, I have a team of the day. Sorry, Red Bull, of course. Turning up with the RB20.
Maximum points over the weekend.
Yeah, maximum points.
Maximum
Checo
points.
didn't have a good quality, which this year he's qualified closer. I know it's just one race. He's qualified closer to Max. But again, he fought his way to get a double podium for the team.
In no time, by the way.
Yeah. And it's not just a Max and Checo thing when I'm saying team, but also the guys behind the scenes. Eden
So,
Nui and the other folks.
Hata yako hapo.
I told
Yako hapo.
you I'm not commenting on the Honor story that happened.
No, I'm just saying, see, you're commending Honor's good work.
Yes, putting the team together and putting people in places where they can thrive.
And texting them.
Texting them.
No, we're not going to do this to Honor. But yeah, Red Bull is my driver of my team of the day. Melon of the day, I'm going to give it to Alpine.
Okay.
What have they been doing since last year? I know we have an engine freeze. They can't fix the engine thing. So are there areas where they can try and improve? One, strategy. Two, can you make the car significantly lighter? So they actually failed the lateral crash test before beginning
Before
of
the season.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
And
There was some rumor Red Bull failed too. That's why they released late. Anyway.
Yeah. So Alpine failed that test, and the monocoque was not eligible to race, and they had to make some modifications, which led to the car being 11 kilos heavier. So so they're going to have a really shitty season, if I can put it that way.
Well, interesting. You didn't tell us your melon of the day.
It's Alpine. It's
Okay.
Alpine.
Dead last, man.
My driver of the day was undoubtedly Carlos Sainz because of the fight he put up come race day. He did have a really impressive showing. And my melon of the day, the technical guys at Ferrari, the Pitboard guys,
Hello?
for
What
not
did they do?
coming to celebrate with Carlos Sainz when he actually got his podium place.
Okay.
Yeah. And with that, let me give you guys some quick F2 updates. So we also had F2 happening, F2 and F3 happening over the weekend. And F2 kulikuwa in a sprint. So there was sprint and there was a feature race. And they were both won by one guy, Zane Maloney. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know him. So Zane Maloney won both of them, and he had a really dominant display. But something else had happened. So we know Maini. You know Maini, the Indian driver? So Kush Maini was actually the pole sitter of the weekend. And he was actually stripped of his pole position because of car infringement reasons.
Car infringement?
What did he do?
Apparently...
He pulled a Ferrari?
Aligusa hiyo gari sa hafai kugusa ama they added something that was illegal. I'm not really sure on the technical details. They just call it car infringement. We were not...
The driver or the team?
The team, basically.
Okay.
So the driver ended up being costed his pole position. But in F2, we are looking at a particular guy. We are looking at a particular guy who's being hyped by Mercedes crew.
Hamilton's protege.
Hamilton's heir. Hamilton's heir. And this person goes by the name of Kimi Antonelli. So
is he Italian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kimi Antonelli driving for Prema. He had a decent race, I'm not going to lie, but he didn't have decent points. Yeah, I'm going to keep it at that. These guys are very lenient on Kimi, especially you. I know you're very lenient on him. But I'm particularly hard on the guy because of how highly the Mercedes folks speak of him. They talk as if he can drive 100. But credit to Kimi Antonelli, by the way. He really had a really impressive race. Minus his team not being in a position whereby they can't perform. Prema are not really in the best of days. They've seen better days. So they are struggling a bit. That is F2. F3, something interesting was also happening there. So we had a certain Luke Browning. Luke Browning winning his race. He drives...
It's a driver.
Yeah, for high-tech something. The team is called high-tech something.
High-tech Motorsports.
Yeah, high-tech something. But it's generally Williams. And he is an academy driver for Williams. So, hey, Williams,
Logan, watch your seat, man.
Williams are probably cooking something in their shelves with a certain Luke Browning. No, he had a really impressive drive. I watched his race. It was around 11 p.m. Kenyan time. And it was really a dominant display. And he looks good. And he's one to watch out for. Definitely one to watch out for the season. So that's the update for today.
Hey. I need to get your thoughts on Kimi. I know it's just one race. Do you think he has what it takes?
Nah, he still has some cooking to do. And I'm not saying that just because I don't know the guy or don't like the guy. I'm saying that because I'm very unbiased when I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him like I'm looking at a new Formula 2 driver. I'm not looking at him with the hype that, he was skipped from whatever he was, the division racings, and he was brought straight to F2 without even going through F3 because of how good he is. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at what I saw on the first race. I'm looking at what I saw on the sprints, the qualies and everything. He is a decent driver. Nothing out of the ordinary that I can say, hey, that guy is,
But
he doesn't
it's
have
just the first race, Ama?
Yeah, it's just the first feature race.
Yeah. For a rookie, I thought he had a really clean race. Yes, his car and also his teammates' car had issues, but seeing a rookie as in defending, also attacking, making positions up ahead, not making silly mistakes. I don't know, getting out of the track, locking tires, etc. I think that was commendable or something really good to see. There's potential inside there, but it's not enough to fill Hamilton's shoes.
Yeah, so
at the moment.
At the moment, he's still not getting that 25 Mercedes seat at the moment, unless he actually wins the championship in that Prema, which I don't see happening. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for joining us here at the Pitboard discussions. Catch you on the next episode. This was plus 25, the 25th anniversary silver episode. This is the silver episode. Let me call it the silver episode. 25 episodes in, we're looking strong. Welcome to the season 2024, and we are hoping to catch you again. Follow us on socials, follow us on X, follow us on Instagram. And if you want to get involved in our discussions on WhatsApp, just reach out to us on whatever platform. We'll get back to you. We'll give you the code. Come in, discuss F1 with us. And see you guys at Jeddah, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Jeddah.
Cheers.
Peace out.